CM Punk made his arrival to AEW at All Out. 1 year later, at All Out, that was when the infamous press conference happened, and we haven't seen him since then. Looking back at that press conference now, if you go back and watch that, it became what I think is probably the biggest story in wrestling. And it's still going on. It's now involving some legal things. So there's a lot of stuff we don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. But here's what we do know. A few months ago, there were a lot of rumors starting to circle about the return of CM Punk to AEW. At the time, when all that stuff's coming out, that all seemed to be connected to this impending announcement of their new TV show. On Wednesday, this past Wednesday, Warner Brothers Discovery had their upfronts. And this is where they announce all their new stuff going on TV. Okay. The rumor was that this new show was going to get announced at the upfronts, and that along with it, CM Punk was going to get announced. They officially announced Collision. That's going to be on TNT every Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. And along with that, I'll note, they did specify that it's supposed to be live. That was on one of the graphics. It was going to be live. That was one of the questions I had about it. It's going to be live most times, and then other times it will be taped on the Thursday before. That's what we've heard so far. And of course, things will change. There's some weeks where they'll have Wednesday Night Dynamite, a Friday Night Rampage, a Saturday Night Collision, and a pay-per-view that week. The press release for this announcement includes some specific wrestlers like Thunder Rosa, Miro, Andrade, right? It did not include CM Punk. So then we find out later that day, there was an original draft of this press release that did include CM Punk. There was at least a copy of this that included CM Punk at some point. The final one that goes out does not. How that happened, who knows? Later that day, specifically some sort of PR person at WBD comes out and says, specifically, CM Punk is not affiliated with the AEW Collision brand. Okay. So, by the end of the upfronts and this whole saga playing out, we didn't get CM Punk. We found out there was great reason to believe he would be there because he was on the original press release. And then we get a spokesperson saying he's not affiliated with that brand. Now, this is wrestling. So it's like if Tony Khan or whomever on the AEW side told the network, hey, let's take him off and let's not talk about that. And let's say he's not affiliated if anyone asks, because that'll make the surprise even better, right? Come Wednesday night on Dynamite, Tony Khan is supposed to make a big announcement. After the upfronts, we were all pretty much assuming it was going to be Collision, and maybe CM Punk was going to be part of that announcement. All right, so Tony Khan comes on there and he announces all these dates for future collisions. He does not mention, he announces the location of all these future collisions and the dates, right? He does not announce the location for the very first one. He says, next week, I'm going to announce that location, okay? At some point in this, let's take a step back for a second. At some point in this, we get this kind of like string of posts from CM Punk. One of them I'm going to read. It's This is interesting to hear in the context of this story. Okay. Friendly reminder, I haven't been on TV in 9 months and y'all still just can't stop talking about me. Maybe stop, you'll feel better. Love, hate, it's all the same. I don't enjoy being the sole person that props up entire misinformed clickbait industry based on toxic gossip from lying sources. But what can you do? When you're the king, it comes with the crown. So that's what CM Punk said, and I believe that was actually before the episode of Dynamite. Later on, he posts some video where he's talking to the camera and he tells fans to go touch grass. Mentions the parasocial relationship between some fans and some people within wrestling, which is, it is an interesting thing to examine. That's probably just going to get more people to talk, but again, he's the king. So, again, then we get to Dynamite, Tony Khan's big announcement. He announces the location for a bunch of collisions, but doesn't announce the very first one. And then at the end of Dynamite, the Elite's in the ring. Again, if you didn't see, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but the Elite got back together in the ring after, including Hangman. And you hear Kenny say this message to the crowd, which is basically we're showing that two men can get in a ring or get into a room and work out their differences, even if they hate each other. It's wrestling, so they know what's going on just as much as we all do. So it could be kind of feeding into that, like, oh, if you say this, then you're gonna create some buzz. It did create buzz, and I do think it's extremely interesting that he chose to speak that way at that time. So that's pretty much where we are with it. It's been a crazy ride with CM Punk and AEW. Hey everybody, if you made it to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you. Please like and subscribe to this channel. It will really help us out. We go over all the stuff going on in pro wrestling and all of combat sports every single week. Thanks again for your support.